Hey guys, today we're going to be working on anatomy for our male figures. So we're going to take our slightly strange looking robotic bodies and adding muscle and bone points so that they look like non-robotic, hot male models. And we're going to be doing two figures because I want to cover a lot of bases. So I have a walking figure and a standing figure. One of those is a full frontal, one of those is a 3/4. And then I'm going to do a really buff, muscular dude who works out a bunch. And I'm going to do a more, he's still muscular, he's still got tone, but a lot slimmer. Okay, so two different body types, two different views, and two different poses. So let's get started. I'm in a really sing-songy mood today. I don't know if you picked up on this trend, but I drink a lot of coffee. I drink like 17 cups of coffee, and then I shoot a video, and then I drink 13 more, and I edit. I drink a lot of coffee. Okay? I don't know. Some people, they get drunk and film YouTube videos. I get super caffeinated because coffee is the best. You guys, coffee is the best. As you may know already, this is my favorite anatomy book. This is the one I've been using since college. And I like this anatomy book because it's simple. It doesn't start talking about every striation of muscle. We don't talk about every single, glenoid cavity and tibial tuberosity, but we do talk about, quads, sternums, the important stuff, right? Right. This video is going to cover anatomy for both standard short and elongated figures. Really, in the elongation process, you may have noticed that we don't elongate the torsos very much, but we elongate the legs a lot. And so the torso muscles are going to be pretty similar for both figures, and then I'll go over short and long legs. I'm a little bit hyper. And there's so much glitter in my studio. Glitter truly is the herpes of arts and crafts. You'll never get rid of it. It spreads like crazy. I have my anatomy book and my Croquis figure swipe and my steps 1 and 2 for my short figure and my elongated figure and tracing paper. I'm gonna fold this together. I'm gonna tape this on top. And I'm going to do this on the elongated figure because, we didn't elongate the torsos that much. We did elongate the legs a lot. I will draw you some short legs. I'm going to draw you some long legs. The torsos are going to be pretty similar. Let's go head to toe. Trace the head because, we don't really have muscular definition in the head, so it will stay the same. Ears, center front, center line for your eyes. So let's talk about necks. Necks, we basically feature just a few things. We have our collarbone. We have our trapezius, this kind of triangular, I guess trapezoidal, muscle that is on the shoulder. And then we have our STERNOCLEIDOMASTOIDEUS, that is this long muscle, this one right here, that wraps from your earlobe down to your sternum. I think just earlobe to sternum. In the classes I teach in the real world, I don't use the word sternocleidomastoid because it is long and my poor students don't need that crap. So we call him Roger. So we're going to wrap that Roger around. Here is your suprasternal notch, that space in between your clavicles. We've got your clavicles that end right over the armpit. And then with guys, guys really work out their shoulders. Women really don't. And so we have like these nice, gentle, concave trapeziuses. But with guys, they will either be straight across or they will be convex. They'll round up depending on how much they work out. Since we're doing a kind of a beefy, muscular dude right now, I'm going to slightly round his traps. Okay. And then we have our pecs. I don't do one line in between his pecs. I do two because it looks, you know, there is kind of a space here and it looks less like cleavage when there's two lines, right? This kind of divot in here. And nipples are to the side and low, and not centered like on women. And then your bicep will sit here, and then lats, these muscles that wrap around your rib cage, sit behind your biceps. Okay, you're only gonna see them on one side because he's slightly 3/4, right? We have our oblique cuts, and they start about 1/3 to 1/2 down the forearm. So we're like here, here's that oblique cut. And you know, with abs, I don't like to draw abs because it just looks a little too carved and crazy. If I'm doing abs, like, you know, I got a bunch of topless guys for swimwear, board shorts, I'm going to paint abs using a dark shadow color, but I don't draw the actual washboard. That just looks crazy. But I do mark, hey, this is the general space it's gonna be in. Let's talk about his arms. So arms are fairly easy. We've got the deltoid, which is our giant shoulder muscle, this shoulder ball. It's named deltoid because it's got this kind of triangular shape, you know, delta, D, river delta, Greek letter delta, blah, 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 triangle. To me, it kind of just looks like an acorn. You have your bicep in the front and your tricep in the back. Your bicep sits along the entire length of the front of your upper arm. So it starts from your armpit and it ends at your elbow. On the other hand, your tricep, it cuts off halfway. So in the side view, you're going to see it come out and then it'll flatten towards the elbow. Those are the two distinct shapes. This guy here, he's almost side view. And then this guy is more 3/4, like you see mostly his bicep in the front. And so we're going to distinguish the angles like that. So we've got the bicep that sits here. Here's his elbow, and there's his bicep, his deltoid that comes out. Your deltoid should never be higher than your clavicle. Don't give me one of these things just because you want to emphasize his deltoid. Okay, it's going to come out. Cut back in, your tricep is here, and then it flattens out some. This one is more side, so my bicep is going to sit like this. My tricep is going to sit like this before it tapers down. And my deltoid is going to sit like so. With your forearm, notice your elbow is this wide. And your brachioradialis makes your forearm actually wider than your elbow. See here and here. So we have our elbow, and then we're going to curve out for our brachio and then taper down the rest of the forearm. When it comes to wrists, keep in mind that your wrists are not perfectly cylindrical. And so the top or bottom view of a wrist is going to be wider than the side view of a wrist. And so you need to draw that accordingly. It may look a little bit slender, but it's because they're the side views of his wrists. See here how broad that is compared to how narrow that is. And then we're going to put his hands in. Now let's do his legs. You should start with short legs because you want to understand the anatomy of the legs before you lengthen them. It gets a little bit crazy. Under your obliques, you have your hips. And guys typically do not have very wide hips, so I don't want you to flare out too much. Nonetheless, crotch level is still the widest part of the hips. And when you pass crotch level, you want to swing down for your quads. Quadriceps are called quads because there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 heads of muscle. So you're going to curve out this way. Outside of the knee is straight. And then high curve on the outside, low ankle bone. In here, it'll curve this way. His penis is in the way, but just trust me on that. And then you get this divot in here. And then you get this other curve of muscle, this head of your quad. And then you have the round of the knee on the inside, divot, low curve on the inside of the calf, high ankle bone. So we're gonna put all that together and put them on a leg. So here's your oblique cut down here. We're gonna flare just a little bit, just a little bit. At crotch level, we start swinging down, and then it is straight on the outside for your knee. High curve on the outside of the calf, swing in, and low ankle bone. In here, we curve out, divot. We have this other quad muscle here, and then we have the roundness of the knee on the inside, divot, low curve on the inside, high ankle bone. And then you want to mark your kneecap and your tibial tuberosity to give that knee that extra bit of structure that it needs to look really muscular. Now, this is your standard short leg. When we are elongating our legs, we are keeping the curves and the shapes the same, just elongating them. And when you elongate them, you're not going to do this curve and then just keep going. You're going to elongate the entire curve. You see the difference there? Straight under the oblique cut, flaring just a little bit. Past the crotch, we're going to curve back in. And use the girth markers from your step 2 to help you figure out how wide everything is going to be. Outside of the knee is straight, curving out for the calf, dipping back in, and here's your low ankle bone. Curving in, you know, male models, they have to get real thin before they have thigh gap, so touch those thighs together. Divot in about 2/3 of the way down, and then we have this muscle here. Inside of the knee is straight, or I'm sorry, inside of the knee is round, and then we have this divot. Inside curve is low, high ankle bone. We're going to do that foot, kneecap, and tibial tuberosity. What's a tibial tuberosity? It's that knob right here. It's on the bone. This knobby bone under your knee. You can feel it on your own leg, and it usually sticks out on thinner people. There's your leg. How's that? Let's do the other one. Flaring slightly out, past crotch level, swinging back in. Outside of the knee is straight. Because this leg is so foreshortened, that curve is going to be kind of squished. And then there's your ankle. Again, here, crossing over a little bit. This bulge, this muscle here, right? Again, going in. And then here's your knee. There's your kneecap. And curving, there's that divot right under the knee, curving out that giant gastrocnemius muscle. And then your ankle and your foot. And there is your completed step 3. 3 out of 4. What's step 4? That's another video. Otherwise, this one's going to get too long. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Oh my God, coffee makes me crazy. Oh my God, there's glitter everywhere. All right, let's do this guy. We're going to do a 3/4 standing pose with leaner, flatter muscles than the other dude. Again, head to toe. We're going to take a piece of tracing paper, tape it onto our steps 1 and 2, and trace the head. Ooh, don't forget your Adam's apple. And then we're going to give him a flat trapezius, lower, less puffy than the other guy, right? Here's his clavicle, ends right over that armpit, right? PECS, just kind of flat, nice. Still gonna give him that double line at center front so that it doesn't look like breasts. And then his nipples right on that edge there. And then we're gonna tuck in real close to his rib cage. There's where his abs sit. There's his center front. And there are his obliques. Those are his lats. I'm gonna make them even skinnier just by a hair. Let's do his deltoids. They are round, but I'm not going really past my original shoulder ball. There's that deep armpit space in there. We're gonna give him a long, lean bicep and tricep bulge. And there's his elbow. So long, lean, softly rounded muscles for this guy. So again, we're gonna bulge out for his brachio, but not by a lot. And then again here's his deltoid. See how this wraps around like this wraps around like this. So here's that bulge. You know, anytime a muscle is compressed because a limb is bent, you know, it's going to be rounder. My bicep's going to round out because I'm squishing it like this, and my tricep's going to be elongated. Brachios are going to compress and round as arms get bent. Deltoids. Here's my bicep in here. Here's my armpit in here. And then here's my elbow, and I'm going to create this nice long curve where you don't see the tricep lump and extend because everything's kind of been pulled, because your tricep is being extended here like this. And then here's his wrist. And remember how I mentioned before that wrists are different depending on whether it's a side view or a top view. And so here you see how wide the bottom of his wrist is, where you see how narrow the side view of his wrist is. FYI, ankles are the same way. Ankles are narrower from the front view and wider in the side view. Check out your own feet. There's that compressed brachio. This coming in like this. And then there's his hand. All right. Let's do his legs. I will be doing future videos on side views and back views and how to elongate those figures and how to do anatomy for those figures. Right now, I'm just going to focus on 3/4. When you look at a 3/4 leg, you will see how round your quads curve out, and also how here's your gluteus maximus and it dents in before it curves out for your hamstring, and the back of your knee is straight. And you want to see all those things. You want to see the curve of your quad. You know, your kneecap is right in here, kind of 3/4. And so this is going to curve out, and you're going to see your kneecap. It's going to be real bony. And then you have your gluteus maximus back here, however much you want to give him. And then you're going to divot in before you bulge back out for your hamstring. And then the back of your knee is straight. And then there's your kneecap. When you look at a side view of a shin, okay, you'll see There's the bulge of your gastrocnemius, and your shin does have a slight outward curve, and in the 3/4 view, you are going to see that. So you're going to see this outward shin curve, and then you're going to see like a much bulgier curve in the back for his calf. You're going to see his ankle bone right there, so let's mark that here, and then his foot. This one, again, you see how round his quads are, how bony his knee is, the roundness of his hams. We're going to give him all those things. So the flat of his stomach and hip, roundness of his quads, that bony knee. We're going to have this muscle is here. So we're going to give him that bulge there. His kneecap is right in there, so we're going to put that in too. And then his gastrocnemius again. That slight outward shin curve. And there's his other foot. Let's elongate all those lines for our 10 head guy, our 9.5 head guy. Here's his center front. At this point, I would add his package. Long, smooth hip, curving quad, bony knee. There's that inside quad, the bulge of his ham, his kneecap. His gastrocnemius is there. That slight outward shin curve. And then his other leg. There's that bulge of his quad, his bony knee, a little bit more 3/4 than the other leg. His gastrocnemius, his gluteus maximus. All these words start blurring together. You know, they all end with "-ius". So however much butt you want to give him. Curving in, outward curve for the ham, and the back of the knee is straight. Let's give him more butt. Who says all Asian men have flat butts? Back of the knee is straight. We're going to give him that gastrocnemius curve back in, and that outward slighter shin curve in the front. And then his foot. There's the longer, leaner, less lumpy guy. And even this guy, his upper body is flatter and his lower body is more muscular. And there you go, guys, your 3/4 standing slimmer guy and your full frontal walking more muscular guy. So hit the subscribe button if you want an alert for when I'm going to upload step 4, where I teach you how to correct your figures and finesse things to change your model to fit your individual uses and needs. Otherwise, that's it for male anatomy. You got questions, drop me a question in the comments. I always love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. And otherwise, I will see you next time.